Hey everyone, I'm Bill Gagne and I'm here to coach you up on finishing your basement. In this episode, we're going to talk about 2 DIY friendly hidden features for finishing your basement that you're going to be really glad you did when it's all said and done. Now, if you're thinking about finishing your basement, you might want to think about subscribing to the channel because we're going to be doing episodes every week on different topics in and around finishing your basement, tips, tricks, features, all kinds of things. So you might want to think about subscribing. Now, the 2 features we're going to talk about that are hidden features, and the reason we call them hidden features is because when your basement's all said and done, you're not going to see them, but you're going to know you're there because you did them, are subfloor and soundproofing. These are both relatively DIY friendly. You don't need a ton of skill or experience to do them. You need very little tools, and they can have a big impact on your basement. These are probably the 2 features in all the basements that I've done that when people come back to me and talk to me and they say, hey, I'm really glad I did the soundproofing, or I'm really glad that I did the subfloor. And there's so many products out now that are out there, and I'm going to talk about the 2 that we use the most and that are easiest to use and that are going to give you really good results that you can do. So we're going to talk first about subfloor. Now, we use the 2x2 subfloor panels from Barricade, which are the same as the subfloor panels for Drycore. There's just different stores. Barricade you're going to get at Lowe's, Drycore you're going to get at Home Depot, but essentially they're the same. They come in insulated and non-insulated. Like I said, they're 2x2. The only tools you really need are a measuring tape, pencil, skill saw, jigsaw, maybe, framing square or a straight edge, and that's about it. Once you get going, it's pretty easy. You're going to offset them. There's tons of videos out there on how to install them. We're going to put together a video that you're going to be able to use as well, but very DIY friendly. We tend to lay it down before we frame the walls because you're going to have a big open space and it's going to be easier to lay. If you try to lay it, you frame your walls and then you try to lay it down, now you're going to be going in and around your walls. It's going to take you longer. It's just better to lay it all first. If you have a bathroom rough in and you got to cut out around the plumbing, no problem. A good idea might be to, in various places, Tapcon down the floor. So Tapcons are concrete screws, so you got to pre-drill through the subfloor, you got to pre-drill through the concrete, and then you got to lay the floor or put the screw in through so that the 2 are flush. So you probably want to countersink the screw as well. But again, you're putting the walls on top. It's going to be really sturdy depending on the floor finish you're going to put. Wherever you're going to put tile, you're going to want to screw down because you don't want the tile to move. Ideally, you're going to use an uncoupling membrane as well, but that's a different story for a different time. But yeah, it's a great product, very DIY friendly. The reason I like it and it's 2x2 is if you have a small basement and you have trouble getting access, you can just carry it in 1 by 1, or sorry, a stack at a time or whatever. So you don't have to have this big roll and think about getting sheets of plywood down. I mean, over the years that I've done this, the first subfloors I was doing were 2x4s on the flat on the floor, screwed down with insulation taped in between and then plywood up on top. It was very, very labor intensive. Now with all these products out, specifically the Barricade and the Drycore, you can get a great result with way less effort. So definitely something that if you have the ceiling height, now where we live, ceiling height's an issue because of building code. You need a certain ceiling height, but if that's not an issue, the Drycore or the Barricade are great things to use that you can do yourself to save you some money. Even if you're hiring a contractor, as long as he's okay or she's okay with you laying it down first for them to put the walls on top of, no worries. Now, soundproofing is the second that's very DIY friendly. It's a little itchy. It's not the most fun. It's not as cool or as fun as laying the subfloor, but the result can be really big in terms of your life. Most people who finish their basements, from my experience, and I've been doing this 15 years and I've probably, done somewhere between 40 and 50 basements, is they're people with young families and they need more living space. They're not going to move. They need to finish that basement so their kids can have somewhere to go or it's somewhere for them to hide from their kids. So the soundproofing can make a big deal, but it's important to have realistic expectations of what soundproofing results you're going to get. It's not really soundproofing, sorry. English is, again, only my first language, and I struggle with it sometimes. You're kind of softening the noise. In a basement, all your ductwork travels up through the ceiling into the other rooms. So it's going to be hard for you to insulate the noise from the pipes coming through, or the ducting, right? You're not going to strap insulation to it. Sound travels through vibration. So the product that we use is Rockwool, formerly Rockwool. It's a mineral wool. It's green. It's itchy. It goes up. It's not the most fun. It's a little crumbly, but you can buy it in 16-ounce centers. You can buy it safe and sound, different types. Now, we used to use a fiberglass pink one called Quiet Zone, and the sound specs were supposed to be the same. Now, even if the specs were the same, Quiet Zone was cheaper, but you got better results with the Rockwool. So my recommendation is spend the extra money to get the Rockwool, to put it in, and you won't have an issue. It'll be great. Now, keep in mind, the soundproofing is going to have an effect from somebody on the upper floor hearing the lower floor. The lower floor, the soundproofing is going to be less effective, in the sense that you can't really get rid of footsteps. So you got to decide how far you're going to go with all this soundproofing, quote unquote, right? Do you really want to like absolutely shut it in? Are you making a theater room? That's different. I haven't done theater rooms. I've done very basic fundamental basements for families, and they're not cheap. And the reason I put this channel together is to help people kind of get them done, because I've got a young family, and if I wasn't a contractor, I don't know if I'd have been able to afford to get somebody to do my basement. So the purpose is to share all these things with you. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. But again, soundproofing from up to down, very hard to deal with. You're always going to hear footsteps. Just understand that you're going to dampen the sound, but not eliminate it. If you don't want to hear your kids playing video games and watching movies and being crazy, it'll definitely have a result to soften that and make your life and your sanity just a little bit better. So we've covered those two. Those are things that are hidden, and they're going to be in the walls. And if you don't do them before the drywall is up, you're going to regret it, because they really, really can have a big impact, right? The insulated subfloor, it used to be Drycore didn't offer, or Barricade didn't offer an insulated subfloor. And then when Barricade started offering it, it wasn't a very good product. It was like 1.5 inches thick. Now it's like a little over an inch. It offers really good R value. It offers really good vapor barrier. So you're definitely going to make your floor a little bit warmer, but it's also going to allow you to put whatever flooring you want on top and have a better result. You'll definitely be happy with it. The soundproofing we talked about, if you just want to get rid of your kids and not hear them for a little bit, I would highly recommend investing in it. And these are the materials for this aren't that expensive. They're definitely budget friendly and can have a big impact, and if you can do them yourself. So I highly recommend looking into both of those. If you are thinking of finishing your basement, like I said, you want to think about subscribing. If I've missed something, if there's something you want to know more about, if there's something you want to challenge me on, if you think this video sucks, please leave it in the comment. I've been doing this 15 years, and the point of doing all of this is to share it, is to help people. Sure, great. If I make some money, wonderful. That's a lovely futuristic dream. But it's at a loss for all of that if people don't get any value out of this. So if you want to know something, this is free to you. There's no charge. Ask away. 15 years, 40 to 50 basements I've done. I know a lot that can help people get this done. So please ask away. Don't like. But if you want to know something, just ask. No charge. Think about that. Now, that's all we got for this episode. We're kind of going to be doing a bunch of various topics. These are going to be anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes, real quick snippets, so you can take it in, go do your homework, and come back for the next one that we're going to do every week. So I want to take this to opportunity to thank you for watching or listening or whichever one you're doing, whether it's on YouTube or listening to the podcast or on Facebook, whatever it is. And hopefully I'm going to see you on the next one. And on that note, I'll see you in the funny pages.